Hi again, here we are, still going through orientation. I hope you're getting a lot out of this and that you're getting excited about your time here at Thousand Pines. We just have a few more things to go over together. The first one is just a reminder of something that you read in your application. There was a section that talked about our statement of faith. These are the things that we believe we have to have in common with all of our employees. And on the other side of the application, you also filled out a section on your personal faith in Jesus Christ and how you came to know the Lord. Up at the top, there was a section that talked about how important it is to understand that as staff, we represent Christ and we represent the ministry of Thousand Pines all the time. And so we want to be good examples of people who follow Jesus. And so that is our expectation of everyone. No one's perfect and we don't expect perfection, but we're looking for people that love Jesus and want to be a good example in their everyday lives. So that's an important part of working here at Thousand Pines. Our mission is to help people see, know, and experience God. We've talked about that already. And one of the ways that we help people to see, know, and experience God is by how we serve them. Also, part of our job is to remove the distractions of everyday life so that they can really concentrate on having an experience with God while they're here. And so that means that because we're here to remove distractions, we don't want to become a distraction. So we have a policy that there's no fraternizing with guests. Fraternizing is the same thing as socializing. It means dating, flirting, and that's not why we're here. And we don't want to distract anyone from the purpose with which the Lord brought them here. So we want to keep all of our interactions with guests really appropriate. We want to be very friendly. We want to be warm, but we need to have good boundaries, and we're not here to become friends after they leave. So that means that we don't become Facebook friends. We don't give out our contact information. We don't get theirs, and we don't contact them once they leave the grounds. We're really here to serve them, and we want to do a great job at doing that. So that's very important. Your supervisor is the one who creates the schedule. It's important for you to communicate with your supervisor anytime you have special occasions coming up where you are unable to work. Please give your supervisor as much time as possible. Saying yes is one of our values. We've already talked about that, and so that holds true for the managers too. Even when staff are needing time off, we want to say yes whenever it's feasible, but you help that process to happen by giving them a lot of advance notice. So you're responsible to know your schedule every week, know when you're supposed to be here, and if you have any questions, you can talk to your supervisor about that. Also, if you're unable to be at work, you need to give as much notice as possible because we don't want our guests to notice that we're understaffed. It's important for us to do a great job serving them. So that means that as soon as you know you're unable to be here, that you communicate with your supervisor with enough time for them to schedule someone else in your place. Your rate of pay is in your letter that you signed at the beginning of your employment that offered you the job. It also appears on your paycheck. And when you get your first paycheck, I really encourage you to take a good look at it and make sure that everything's correct. Did I spell your name correctly? Is it the right Social Security number? Did we take the right number of deductions? Is the pay rate correct? All of that. That's really helpful for you and it's helpful for me. So please do take a really good look at your first paycheck. Make sure that everything is correct on there. We get paid twice a month, on the 15th of the month and then on the last day of the month, whatever that is. If the payday falls on a weekend, we will pay you always on Friday. Checks are available in the office at 10 a.m. And whether you have a regular paycheck or you choose to do direct deposit, you will still have a direct deposit voucher that needs to be picked up on payday whenever possible. We keep the checks in the office, in the main office. There are several envelopes, one for each different department, and you go to the envelope for your department, you pull out your paycheck, and you sign the clipboard that's right in front of all the paychecks. That lets us know that you did pick up your check. If you can't pick up your check for some reason and you'd like to send someone else, we will need advance notice, so you need to give me a call and let me know the name of the person picking up your paycheck. And then with your permission, we would give the paycheck to someone else. Whenever you get paid, you're getting paid for a set or standard period of time. So when you get paid on the 15th of the month, what you're getting paid for is any work you did from the 21st of the previous month through the 5th of the month. At the end of the month, what you're getting paid for is any work you've done from the 6th through the 20th of the month. If when you look at your paycheck, it seems like, oh, well, maybe it's not right, or you thought you had more hours, there's always a sheet in front of all the paycheck envelopes that tells exactly what you're getting paid for. If you still think that your paycheck isn't correct, you need to go to your supervisor, and they can look on our electronic time clock system and see if there were any times missing. And if so, they will communicate with me, and then I can write you a makeup check. If it turns out that the mistake was due to an employee error, not remembering to punch in or punch out or let a supervisor know, then that extra check, that's the makeup check, will cost $10. That's what the bank is going to charge us. If the mistake was made by Thousand Pines, of course we won't do that. But we will try to get you a makeup check as soon as possible if that ever becomes an issue. We absolutely comply with the law when it comes to overtime rules and any other rules that relate to you as an employee. So that means that anytime you work more than 8 hours in a day, more than 40 hours in the same work week, or 7 days in a row in the same work week, you're entitled to overtime, which means you're getting paid at a rate of 1.5 times your regular pay. Overtime is expensive, and we're in ministry, and we want to be really careful with overtime. So all overtime should be approved ahead of time by your supervisor whenever possible. The first 3 months of your job we call the introductory period, and it's just a time for us to see if we're a good fit for each other. If you're a good fit for the camp, like we thought when we offered you a job, and if the camp is a good fit for you. But we are an at-will employer, and what that means is that your employment with Thousand Pines can be ended by you at any time, with or without reason, with or without notice, and then on our end, the camp can end a job at any time, with or without reason, with or without notice. So that's what at-will employment is. There's a bulletin board in the staff dining room that has posters that have all of your rights as an employee and people to contact if you feel that you're not being treated properly by Thousand Pines, and information that you might need, phone numbers, etc. I would really hope that if you have things going on that are really taking away or detracting from your experience as an employee, that you would go to your supervisor and have a conversation about that, or go to your supervisor's supervisor, or come and talk to me in the HR department. We really value you as a person and as an employee. That's not just something that we say, we really mean it. We want you to see, know, and experience God while you're here too. And so those posters are there in the staff dining room to help you, but we also want you to have open and really good communication with your supervisors and also with the people that you work with. We do have a policy regarding cell phones, and that is that unless you need your cell phone for work, which would include supervisors and managers mostly, your cell phone should be turned off when you are working. And then during your break time or your meal times, you can make any calls that you need to make. This would also include texting and things like that. Also, for safety reasons and for the purpose of giving really excellent service to our guests, we don't want anyone having earbuds or earphones in their ears when they're actually working. This can be a safety issue if you can't hear if something is going on, and also you can't help someone asking for help if you can't hear them. And we want to remove any barriers, and so we ask that you don't have any kind of earbuds or earphones or earpieces in your ears when you're working. We have an employee dress code, and the most important part of that employee dress code is this name tag. Of course, yours won't have my name on it, it'll have your name on it, but whenever you're at work, you need to be wearing your name tag. You're out of uniform if you don't have your name tag on. We want everyone that you're interacting with to know that you're an employee of Thousand Pines, and we want them to know who you are. The benefit of wearing your name tag all the time is that when you give really excellent service to someone, it's very possible that your name would make it into the evaluation that that group leader is going to fill out at the end of their time here. Every group that comes to camp is asked to fill out an evaluation at the end of their stay, and they grade us on everything. Our accommodations, our food, our staff, the registration process, all of that is important to us so that we can continue to give people a better and better experience here at Thousand Pines. And you're a big part of that. And often we have staff members whose names make it into the evaluations because of the excellent service that they're giving to people. So it's really important for you to have your name tag on all the time when you're at work. We will give you some staff shirts to wear when you're working, but basically the Thousand Pines uniform is a Thousand Pines shirt with your name tag. You can wear any kind of pants or shorts or skirt that would be appropriate to your job. We want them to be in good condition. They need to not have holes in them. Your pants, your waistband needs to be up high enough that you look professional and sharp and just looking professional all the time. You should be wearing shoes that are appropriate to the venue that you work at or the place where you work. For office staff, that means that you can wear open-toed shoes. For those that are out and about working on the grounds of the camp, it's a safety issue and recommended that you be wearing closed-toed shoes most of the time. If you have any questions about what's appropriate to wear or not wear, you can always ask your supervisor. We ask that you keep piercings to a minimum, and if you have tattoos that are large or very distracting, we ask that they be covered up during work. Obviously, as Christians, we have the freedom to dress differently, and but we're here to serve our guests, and so we don't want to be a distraction to them. And so sometimes that means that we err on the side of modesty and we limit our freedom sometimes for the sake of other people. But like I said, you can always ask your supervisor if you have any questions about how to look appropriate and professional in your position here at Thousand Pines. If you've been hired for a full-time position, we will have another meeting at the end of your first month to go over benefits information, eligibility, enrollment, and all that kind of stuff. So that's coming. For our full-time staff, we have all the benefits that are required by labor laws in the government. So we've touched on most of those already. One thing that we do not have, that we don't provide, is state disability insurance or state unemployment insurance. We're a nonprofit business, and so that means that Thousand Pines is exempt from having to pay into state unemployment or state disability. Also, that means that we don't take that employee portion out of your paychecks. So that means that your check is a little bit bigger, and so we just want to make sure that everyone is aware of that as they begin working here. One of the great things about Thousand Pines is that we have a kitchen where we're feeding campers and staff whenever we have campers on. If you are an hourly employee, that means that when you come to work, you are welcome to have one meal a day here. Generally, it's in the middle of your shift, so if you're an 8 to 5 kind of person, that means that generally you can count on having lunch here at camp, provided by camp, as long as we're also providing food for campers. On the days when we're not providing food for campers, then we don't provide it for our staff generally. So those would be days when you'd be responsible to either bring your own lunch or go into town or whatever you would like to do on those days. If you are here and your work day is scheduled in such a way that you're here for 2 meals, that's fine as long as you're scheduled. And we want to make sure that you comply, that you help us comply with the rules regarding meal breaks for you. And so that means that if you're an hourly employee, you must take a full 30-minute meal break within the first 5 hours that you work if you're working a 6-hour day or longer. If you're working less than 6 hours, you don't have to stop for a meal break if you don't want to. And you're also entitled to a 10-minute break for every 4 hours that you work, which is on the clock. Your meal breaks are off the clock. So that means that when you take your 30-minute meal break, you're going to clock out at the beginning of your break and clock back in at the end of your 30-minute meal break. If you have any questions about how this works, you can talk to your supervisor, or you can always come and talk to me. Using tobacco, alcohol, or drugs that are not prescribed to you, or illegal drugs, would be grounds for immediately losing your position at Thousand Pines. Also, abusing alcohol or abusing drugs on your off time. One of the things that we would consider to be an abuse of alcohol would be a person under 21 who's drinking at all. The minimum standard that we want to follow is the law. And so the law in the state of California says that you need to be at least 21 years old to be drinking alcohol. And this also includes any time you're at a Thousand Pines function, off-site, or any time you're representing Thousand Pines. If you have any questions about that, you can talk to your supervisor or come talk to me. Well, looks like you're at the end of the part that I'm doing. I just want to thank you for hanging in there. I know that it's not the most exciting information to go through, but it is important. We want you to have a great experience as an employee, and we want you to be successful in your job. If you follow our Thousand Pines policies, you have every opportunity to be successful, and you have a great supervisor who wants to help you to succeed and who would be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Well, there you have it. First of all, I just want to say thank you. Thanks for sitting through this whole video. We hope you enjoyed that as much as possible, whatever that means. And additionally, we just want to say welcome. We're so glad that you're part of the ministry and that you're joining the team here at Thousand Pines. And we look forward to serving alongside you here at the ministry at Thousand Pines. Let's help people see, know, and experience God.